friend, a tribe, people who are like you. And
Community.
that you're looking for community. And I think the kids and in the movie, they see that you don't necessarily just need to rely on your phone. There are people around you who can do that for you and
Yes.
build you up. So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, everyone's just looking for that friend, whether they find it on the internet or not.
Yeah.
Like almost popular. We're nothings that poking a narcissistic bear and her sociopathic mother. Now we have to go back to the street fight we started and throw a second punch.
Wake up! You need to date Susanna Pringles, the most popular athlete.
I'm not gay.
Nobody cares about that anymore.
They do if you're not gay.
Yeah, I'm not Jude Chambers. I'm from Big Old Belt Media. It is a pleasure to talk to you three today about your new film, Almost Popular, in theaters August 28th. How's everyone feeling?
Good.
Oh, through the roof, through the roof.
Seems like the vibes are high here, and y'all should because with the film just around the corner and having a chance to see it, it's a great one. I can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait for the world to see it. I do want to start off first and foremost acknowledging a lot of the promotional stuff getting to the release. So Nayib, I want to ask you who was and who should I say is responsible about sort of the chats, the interviews that were done on YouTube because I caught wind of it late and went back and watched it, and it does give so much more perspective about the films, the organic relationships with the cast. It just quite frankly, the type of fun that you're going to get into, but yet the feel good moments, the important messages, all that good stuff that you get from it. But you don't typically see that. You typically see a poster, trailer, then you just off to the races. But this one, I mean, it's undeniable now, even with that extra material and content that you have to see this film. So yeah, who do we give our flowers to for this?
Well, thank you for acknowledging that. That was I was behind that. Pam was behind that, the writer and our producer. And then I had a friend, I had a couple friends help, Sophia and Kristen help put that together. But look, we're an independent film. There's no studio behind us. There's no Brad Pitt actor. There's no 40-year-old white guy in this movie. This is a movie with young females. We know we had to make a splash and we know we have to do things ourselves because we want to be disruptors in this industry. We want to make things and we want to stand out. So I coerced a bunch of people and I said, I need a media day. And
That's right.
we have about 10 videos and then we have about 25 little videos. So we have like 35 videos. They're going to come out every week throughout the promo piece. We're going to be doing everything we can to get kids to see this movie. I do music videos, which are branding, right? I've done 300 plus music videos. I've helped branded people who've gotten signed and all that stuff. And um, it's part of my background and understanding. So we've been doing that simply to get the word out because a trailer, there's too much stuff out there. There's too much content.
Yeah.
So a trailer and a poster just ain't going to cut it anymore. Especially for an indie film who doesn't have millions of dollars to pump into sending us to Good Morning America or whatever, or what have you. I'd rather be here with you.
Yeah.
You're a young, you're a young guy doing this. You understand how hard it is to break into that big mold. So you
Yeah.
have to be super prepared and you have to do things that people aren't gonna do. And that media
Mm.
day was a huge thing for us because we needed something to push this movie. And thank you for acknowledging that. And the kids came
Absolutely.
in and had fun and they were just so awesome to just come and spend their free time and do that for the movie. That's to shows how much they loved the movie and loved being a part of it.
Yeah, I'll be clipping that and playing that over and over, and let's keep in touch because that's such a powerful and important message. And man, I'm sure we could talk on that alone for the next 2 hours or so. But let me do say, while there may not be a Brad Pitt in this film, you do have some stars,
Oh,
and folks are going to discover that very quickly. And I also think too, again, going back to the additional content that you see, promotional content, that it's just organic. There's truly friendship bonds here, and then everybody had some point been through high school, so we understand these sort of characters, these personalities that we have encountered, but we also understand the solution behind it, and that's a lot of what this film is. And I definitely want to start off by asking the ladies here, because when you add this new element, especially for us older heads here, high school is now revolved around TikTok dances, follower counts, even fraudulent engagement.
Fraudulent
What do you
engagement.
what do you what do you think this says about social media and how it shapes high school life today? And if anybody wants to add how they feel like it shapes the industry, I'll be down for that one too. So let me get my tea real quick.
Well, I'm currently still in high school. I'm a senior in high school. So I have gone through high school at the peak of social media and for sure the peak of TikTok. And it is the most influential platform that is out there currently. I can say 1,000%. I would say that social media is seen very much in a negative light nowadays in the sense of, insecurity and politics even, and just like outrageous things are on TikTok, and outrageous people frankly are on TikTok. But for me, it has been very positive in my life. I am an influencer, and it's where I found my spot. And I said this before, like, it's kind of where I found my Susie and Bobby. Like, Susie and Bobby, are looking for a place to feel at home and people around them to support them. And social media is where I found that. I've always felt like a very odd person. And especially in high school and in person with kids, I felt like I just wasn't connecting with them. Like, I don't know, like, I'm very weird. I have a couple of my close ones and that's all I've got. But with social media, I found, millions of people who are the same as me and find me funny and don't judge me and make me feel pretty and, reassure me in that sense. And I love to give them the same back and for everyone to feel like they found a place within me too.
Mm. Told you have stars here. Ellodee. You want to add anything here?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I forgot the question, but we do have stars in this movie. Ruby, Reed, Ellodee. I mean, Sarah is a comedy genius, and she'll get to show that more in her career. But I always tell people that I've always been lucky enough to work with kids before they've popped off. And
Mm.
when I was on this set, I was like, you may not know who these kids are right now, but in 5 years, you're gonna know. And I think of movies like Dazed and Confused, Mean Girls. I mean, Lindsay Lohan was really the only star, but that made a lot of other stars. Dazed and Confused, there was no stars in that movie, and it made a bunch of stars. And that's how I feel about this movie. I feel when people see Ruby, Reed, and Isabella, Ellodee, Sarah, Elijah, these kids can act, and they did it with minimal takes
Mm.
and a very short shooting schedule. There wasn't hours to for them to improv and try things out. No, they came on set and they knocked it out of the park. And I think a big thing about social media is we all share our highs on social media.
Mm.
I've been starting to share my lows. I had struggles with addiction and all that stuff. So I've been very vocal about that. So I've used my platform to kind of softly talk about those things because I think, social media is such a tricky thing because you'll see happy couples, but in real life, they might not be the happiest couple. And for us in the movie, Ellodee is the queen bee. She's popular, but she is insecure. And
Yeah.
she's just as insecure as Susie, who's doing the same thing as that Vicki did.
Yeah.
So no matter how many followers you have or how popular you have the same insecurities as a kid on the bottom as you do on the top.
We're
Nothing
all
changes.
human.
So hopefully we'll realize that none of that shit matters. Social media doesn't matter, right? What matters is when you turn off the computer and you turn to the person left or right of you, that they're there and that there's real and there's something there. Like I I know the movie is promoting TikTok and social media, but you've seen the movie. It's not about that.
At
There's
all.
no at all. It's really not. It's just a trick to get people to watch. Like my
Yeah.
nephews are like, "Ooh, 1 million followers on TikTok. I'm in." And then I'm like, "Well, I just suckered you into being a good person,
Yeah.
you know?" So,
Learned a lesson.
yeah, so that was just a way to get you to watch and
Yeah.
get you to be a better person because at the end of the day, all the characters, they all went through this nice little arc and they all became who they truly are. So that to me, as someone who's built his career on social media, and Sarah, who's built her career on social media, and Ellodee, who's not a social media person, who's just an actress, there's insecurities on all of our
Yeah.
parts.
Which goes
Everyone.
back to the original question about just social media in general. It's so powerful. And I couldn't imagine being in high school right now, having to be in high school, try to fit in, try to be cool, plus try to get likes, try to post something interesting. Because when I was in high school, I was just watching like the newer or like the older YouTube stars, like Bethany Moda, I was obsessed with. And I would just, watch hair tutorials and like how to braid my hair, not like viral TikTok dances. And
Yeah.
now, as an actress, I'm like, oh my God, now I have to start doing this, I feel like, because the industry is just changing and the influencer side and the acting side is all becoming one, and we're all in movies together. And I'm like, okay, now I have been putting more effort into my social media, and now it's slowly starting to grow. But
Yeah.
being set on Almost Popular with all these influencers like Sarah and Charlize and Tahani, I was like, well, now I'm out of my comfort zone here.
I think, but social media, everyone just wants what you're looking for is a friend, a tribe, people who are like you. And
Community.
that you're looking for community. And I think the kids and in the movie, they see that you don't necessarily just need to rely on your phone. There are people around you who can do that for you and
Yes.
build you up. So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, everyone's just looking for that friend, whether they find it on the internet or not.
Yeah.
That's the whole message of the film is be yourself, be your true authentic self. And that is what being like popular is the person who
Yeah.
can walk into a room and just be themselves.
Absolute
That's
man.
usually that's the person I want to talk to.
Yeah, clip that one too. That's a voice
Mhm.
note to myself.
That's the most magnetic person for
No,
sure.
seriously,
Yeah.
I'm receiving this for sure, and I really want to add so much, but I want to get the questions in. So
Yeah,
somehow
yeah.
someone will have to do this again, a little extended conversation here. But LD, listen, when you embody a character like Vicky, we've seen these characters in different iterations in different periods of our life, and they all have been iconic, which clearly makes this one iconic, and the world's going to see that for themselves. It's a fantastic performance, and much like with storytelling, you have a good guy, you have a bad guy. But when these type of stories, that's really subjective, and we already got sort of the details there behind the scenes. But like the insecurity, because we should always have a little bit of empathy for everybody, because you just don't know the most popular person, most fashionable person, a person who's dating the most popular person, who's the head of the class, the top cheerleader, the top athlete, whatever it may be. Everybody has a struggle. I want to know for you, when you have to step into a character like this where you have tons of references in the past that you can look to, but you obviously made this one yourself, and you also balanced it with good comedy. You made it feel real, you made it feel authentic, you made it feel organic and not just stereotypical. What was the process, and how did you really channel that? And ultimately, what did you sort of look back and reflect on your world?
Oh, wow, what a good question. Well, I could definitely put myself in Vicky's shoes with like her family dynamic because I grew up in a family of actors. So for me, like my parents were actors and they're obviously the most supportive people in my life and like have drawn me to this career, but I could definitely see how in Vicky's case, her mom was like the popular one and had so much going for her in high school and wanted to be the queen bee, that then when she got out of high school she like put all of that focus on Vicky and now is kind of living vicariously through Vicky when Vicky's in high school, but in a terrible type of way because Vicky gets home and her mom's like, you need to do this and you need to do this and your numbers
Yeah.
aren't right and I DM this person for you, and it's just
Mm.
outrageous what Vicky's parents are projecting on her and
Yeah.
why she's acting so mean at school and why she feels like she needs to intimidate everybody around her.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something that I sort of worked through therapy is
Mm,
this thing called generational trauma, and that
exactly.
and my mental health isn't really a statement in this film. It's very prevalent in the things that happen in there. So I'm going to cheat forward and say, first and foremost, Almost Popular is in theaters August 28th. We all know this genre is alive and well and thriving over many generations of the likes of the Mean Girls, who's done a sequel and then even sort of did a reboot, I guess you can say, as of recent of last year. What has the conversation been about expanding these stories? Because I'm even more interested to see what has been learned, how has sort of the chapter of the page have turned from everything that's happened in this film. I want to see furthermore now that the dynamics a little bit switched and things, what does the day-to-day look like for these characters? If there had not been a discussion, well, we might as well what I like to call a fantasy book. So, what would you like to see the next chapter of your respective characters do? And we start with you, Sarah.
Ooh,
We need more news. We need more reports, by the way. Just
no, literally, that's like what I'm
we
thinking.
need
I'm
the
like,
tea.
Darby, where are you, girl? I think that Darby, from the beginning, unlike some of the characters, was always unapologetically herself. She was never ashamed. She was doing what she's doing, and she knows what she wants to do. You know what I mean? She's a reporter. She's in it. So I think for sure that I would love to see Darby maybe as like a talk show host in the future, which is kind of something that I do now, and I like feel that and I resonate with my character and wanted to bring a little bit of that to that character. Or maybe, in Mean Girls, we have beautiful Karen when she's, she can feel the weather through her body parts, which is always one of my favorite things. I think that Darby could go that route. I see her there, you know what I mean? I think that for a big period of time, kind of covering on celebrities and social media influencers was a huge part of it. I would love to see Darby do that, but in a positive light and covering on the things of like, Justin Bieber just spoke out about mental health and awareness instead of a
Mm,
photo of him where they do him in his worst light, something different and unique always.
Mhm.
Ellodee.
I would love to see Vicky in her nice girl era. I
Yeah.
want to see her babysitting. I want to see her taking care of animals, maybe volunteering at some local charity events.
Mm,
Just needs to turn her life around and know
Right.
that there's more than being mean.
okay.
And I
Okay.
didn't play a character, but there's other films that we are working on. Pam, who wrote Almost Popular, where we want to start tackling, we this was such a nice way for us to walk through the door. It's a very cute film. It's a very silly film. It has a lot
Yeah.
of heart. I don't think it's gonna, win a million awards or anything like that. I understand what the film is. It's a comfort film. It's supposed to make you
Yeah.
feel good. But as I grow in my filmmaking stuff, I want to start tackling things that are a little bit um, that are still fun and still playful, but start tackling some serious issues with young talent. And we do that. Sarah has a show called Girl Talk where she talks about really serious things.
Mm,
And we are trying to create something where kids can break free for a little bit and resonate with young people. So
yeah.
we're going to continue to make films like that. We're going to make stories that touch people in different ways.
Yeah.
We have some really exciting next projects that
Mm.
I hope that we all grow into. But yeah,
You're
I was
still on the
looking
hook
forward
for a sequel. I
to it.
I am all
Almost,
behind that.
almost popular too.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah, you're on the
God.
hook for it. Listen, you can't introduce these characters, these stories, these dynamics, and think we're not gonna fall in love and want to see it on out. So
That's really
that's
sweet.
just what
Thank
it
you.
is.
Yeah.
I do have to wrap, but I definitely wanted to say also why I didn't have a time to ask. I would definitely appreciated the music as well too. I saw
Thank
that
you. That means
Elizabeth
a
Wolf was
lot.
a big contribution to this as well. And also, I believe your best friend Sarah, as in Brooklyn, also had some contributions as well too. So the
Yes.
music alone, the soundtrack. I see you're a vinyl person, so make it happen.
Second time I
Make it
got
happen.
called.
I'm making
Yes,
all the
second
requests here.
time.
That's right. Yeah. So let's do that.
Well,
Add the
Almost
cart
Popular
pre-order.
soundtrack is on Spotify. If you type in Almost Popular soundtrack, I made a playlist for it. So there's a
Let's
lot of
get it.
indie artists on there that you should check out. Brooklyn Queens on there. And I
Mhm.
got two songs from my childhood, Kiss Me and My Own Worst Enemy that I grew up on. So yes, please give those spins, especially to those smaller artists who gave this
Yeah.
movie a shot. And I hope they get the eyes that they deserve in their
Yeah.
music because they were wonderful. And thank you for acknowledging the music. We spent a lot of time going through music and finding the right tracks.
Absolutely. Don't do the mistake I did. I looked on Apple Music, didn't see anything. So go to Spotify, which I'll be
Spotify.
as soon as I wrap this. But thank y'all all so much for your time today. Congratulations. Once again, it's been so much fun talking to you all. I really hope we get to do it again. But in the meantime, Almost Popular in theaters August 28th. There's a screenshot right there of the soundtrack. Go support local independent filmmaking, these up and coming stars, and also the music that is behind the film. It was a collaborative process for a film that comes out really tackling some important stories about self discovery, self expression, and really not about being popular, but just being seen. Thank y'all so much today. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.